Hi there and welcome to my channel. The channel that I still call Work in Progress and Always Evolving. And the channel that I have an idea where we will have many conversations with people like you and me, just like you and me, everyday people. That's my vision. So if that idea appeals to you, if you'd like to have a conversation, and it would be about, your experience, things that you would like to share on your life's journey, and with the hopes that maybe this is going to help someone else. And believe me, it will. So if you've got something to share, we all do, by the way, and you're open to this idea to have a conversation with me, then just look below this video. There's my contact information there. Just click on it and let's see if we can get some conversations started. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is something that came to mind when I was having a conversation with someone just the other day. And what it is, it's about the body, our bodies, and how we tend in this kind of, duality that we live in. We stay in our head a lot, right? So first of all, let me just remind all of us, we're not our bodies, right? Our bodies are the place that we experience form, we experience all the senses, but when I say we are not our bodies, we're a spirit here to experience through the body. So it's through the body that we actually have this experience of, being human, let's call it. And some people in the world that we're in here, of spiritual world, let's call it that, I don't know what to call it, will say, call it a meat suit. It's temporary, right? We're not temporary, but the body is. So, and also when I say we're not our body, we have the full experience of the body, right? So if you broke your leg, or, you have some kind of an illness or whatever it is, you will feel it in the body. You definitely feel the pain in the body, just like you feel joy in the body, right? All the emotions are felt through this body, but you're not the body, right? However, this body, your body, my body, everyone's body, is extremely intelligent. And most of us don't realize that, because most of the time we're in our heads and we kind of are viewing or experiencing the body from a whole different point of view. In a way, some of us don't even really, I don't know how to say it, we just don't have the experience of the body. Yes, we have all the emotions and those kinds of things, and we feel hungry, we feel full, but we're not really recognizing it through the body in a way. We stay in our head. We stay in the illusion. We stay in the conversation that's taking place in our head. And we're disconnected, That's why sometimes like certain exercises, or like yoga, things that help us get in touch with our body, these are a lot of things that we may try to do so that we're not so disconnected at the neck, right? It's almost like there's this head walking around without the body. Yet this body is so important and so intelligent. And why am I calling it intelligent? Well, if you begin to learn, and maybe you already do this right now, you're tuned in to the body, you will get all kinds of guidance, all kinds of information that's going to help you stay healthy. It's going to help you get healed from certain things. Maybe you've had surgery, maybe you have another issue. The body has this intelligence of how to heal and how to absolutely take care of yourself. but we have to learn how to communicate with the body and how to kind of identify how this information comes through. And it comes through from, at least this is my experience, it comes through from my, what I call my intuition. And, you know, it can be called a gut feeling. Interesting, because that's the body. So you'd be feeling this intuition in the gut. I happen to feel it in my solar plexus. And it comes through, for me, as, how do I want to call this? It's a knowing. It's just a knowing. It's not really a voice per se, but it comes through in language, you know, that I understand. It is a kind of a tuning in to beginning to hear or feel or get into that communication with the body. So I mentioned that this whole idea of the body and how we tend oftentimes not to really give the body the credit it deserves, and the way, and also we're not really using it in the way that could be absolutely incredibly helpful for us. So I was talking to this person. In fact, this person, we're going to have a conversation that we'll record and put on YouTube, put on my YouTube channel. But with this individual, he had this experience of having that knowing through his body, and his story is incredible. He has been on lots of medications for allergies. He grew up as a young kid. He had major serious allergies, and now he's into his midlife and still had these allergies. And he had happened to have gained quite a bit of weight. And so he, how this happened, I won't go into, because that's what you'll hear when we have this conversation. It'll be soon that we have it. And then I have it on the YouTube channel. But bottom line, he lost 90 pounds in 6 months and went off all his meds. Now, the conversation is not going to be about diet and how to lose weight and any of that. The conversation is going to be exactly how this happened for him, was through identifying, learning, listening, hearing the body, hearing the intelligence of this body. By the way, he never exercised. He never did anything except listen to the body. And that's all of a sudden 90 pounds were gone. Well, 6 months later, but that's absolutely remarkable, right? And this isn't also a story or an idea of where he's advocating going off meds or any of this. It's not about the process of what he did. It's about the process of how he tuned in to the intelligence of the body. I myself really understand this, because for some reason, I don't know how this has happened for me, because it wasn't like I had a moment in time. I've just always been in communication with my body on so many levels, and particularly when it comes to anything medical. So just to give a few examples to try to understand how maybe this works, or it's not like it works, just to understand you've got the same capability. It's just a matter of, I believe, in trying to tune in. You know, it's going to happen through unseen forces, but you can take some action. Should this idea appeal to you, you can take some action to start to kind of tune your senses in more into the body. And maybe you're already doing it now, and if you are, I'd love to hear some comments about what's gone on for you. That would be great to share with all of us. So as an example for me, and I mentioned the medical part has been always very valuable to me. So many years ago, I had to have some surgery, which I knew I needed to have, but I had a certain sense this was from my body of the way this surgery should be done, not from a not because I was a doctor or I knew that way. It was just how there were options, right? And so my body was clearly telling me what these options were. So when I would go, so that the doctor that I was seeing was not in alignment with me at all, and his option was entirely different than what I wanted. So this wasn't like an emergency thing, so I had some time, and I wasn't going to go for his idea. So I started to make appointments with some other doctors and to get, second and third opinions. Or I wasn't looking for an opinion. I was looking for somebody, a doctor that could look me in the eye and say, okay. It ended up that, I don't know, I went to a couple more doctors, and then I went back to a doctor that I'd gone to earlier years before I'd moved, and he was about an hour away, not real convenient at all, particularly in the Bay Area traffic. But somehow I was guided to make an appointment with him, which I did. And we had the conversation about the options, and I clearly explained that it was non-negotiable for me. I needed to know that I was going to have a doctor that definitely would see my idea and make it happen, see what I wanted. It's not an idea, it just was another option, right? And he agreed. Now, he also did let me know that, he would do the best that he could to accomplish what I wanted. And that, however, there's a possibility that that may not happen once he actually got into the surgery. So I understood that, but I felt that he really was able to honestly look me in the eye, and I got a really good feeling, a comfortable feeling, an okayness. I mean, you're not comfortable with surgery, right? So it's not quite the right word, but I got, I felt I could trust him. That's what happened. I just felt I could trust him. Now, as I mentioned, it wasn't convenient. The hospital that he goes to none of it was convenient in terms of where it was. In fact, my husband was amazing because I'm not good. I should also, as a sidebar, say, I'm not good around doctors and medical stuff. I don't want it. I don't like it. Nobody does, really. But I really will try to avoid anything to do with doctors or medicals to any degree that I can. So here I was going to be in the hospital several days after the surgery. And my husband, who here we lived an hour away at least, and that's where he worked an hour away, but he showed up every evening. He fought the traffic, and he showed up every evening during visiting hours, and obviously he stayed through the whole day that I had the operation. And the whole operation, everything went smoothly. The option that I wanted happened, and it was really I couldn't have asked for a better experience, given especially my issues around hospitals, medical, blood tests, and you name it. I don't know. I'm very sure I've had some past lives that I think I don't want to even know, that may have have me with the blood thing and all of that. But let that go. That's not what I'm really talking about. So anyway, so that is a absolutely perfect example of how I really followed what my body was telling me. And I followed my body after the surgery, during the recovery, and it just went extremely well. Even the hospital that I was in was an amazing hospital with really good people, etc. So that also, I felt, was my body kind of leading me to where this should be done. Not just the doctor, but the whole circumstance, ended up really, really positive. So, and I've had this throughout my life, with really having this kind of, for the most part, this kind of information. I have to say this, or this kind of intuitive. There was a point very early on in my life where I actually, with my when I was first pregnant, I went to a doctor, and I think this is what it really, where I really tuned into my body. I went to this doctor that had actually been the family doctor, I guess you could say, OBGYN. And I had a horrid experience with him twice. Finally, I realized something's not right here. And also, I'd moved away from where he was and I had been, so we moved, and at that point, though, I began to really tune in to find like an OBGYN, because that was the kind of doctor I was needing for the most part at that time, and found some exceptionally really good doctors. But again, my body led me that way. And especially after that experience with this not so great doctor. So maybe that was the pivotal point for me. I don't know. Or maybe that was the allowing me to tune in. I was quite young. So I was I think I was 20. And it was like that helped me maybe kind of get tuned into what I needed to be trusting with my body. And then through all the years, it's been that way, through so many, many, many different situations, medical situations, which I'm talking about. And even to the point where this pandemic and, the issues around getting the jab, etc., my body was very clear on what I needed to do, and I followed that, and it was the road less traveled, let's say, and it's turned out to be absolutely right. So, and even on medications, I'm very sensitive to any kind of medication, even over the counter, and aspirin can bother me. And so again, I just listen to my body, and it tells me exactly yes, no. So, our intuition comes in many ways. It's meaning it's not just around medical, it comes through everything, but it comes through the body. This is where we actually tune into our intuition, our gut feelings. At least that's been my experience, and what I've heard from others, same thing, that it's through the body that we actually get this sense of whatever it is that we're trying to tune into. And it's so, so important. And yet I feel so often that in our world, so many of us really are not connected with that part of us. It's there, and we feel the pain of times, but it's that we're not using the intelligence of the body. And this is huge to start to even get an awareness of. It's not like there's a technique to get you there. You kind of have to find your own way. I think that's true of everything that we're doing. We kind of have to find our own way through. But it is so valuable when you can really start to tune into the body's intelligence and then begin to follow that intelligence. It's a knowing, it's a, I don't even know what to, it comes through in such a solid way that there is no argument. That's it. It comes through loud and clear, no question. When my body speaks to me, no conversation is needed. I get it. And it's interesting too was when I mentioned this person lost all that weight. I've not had a weight problem. I think at one point through some hormonal issues, I had some weight issues, but basically I never have had what people would call a weight problem. And yet, but I've always eat exactly like my body tells me to eat, which has again kind of been the road less traveled compared to others. When I was a teenager and everybody was into French fries and hamburgers and Cokes and so forth, I wasn't into any of that. My body just didn't take me there, other than probably Cokes or Pepsi or whatever it was at that time. But I typically wasn't a teen that I didn't like. I didn't have any interest in a lot of the stuff that my friends were eating all the time. So I guess it was almost kind of a little weird. I managed to manage it somehow. Also, in the portions or how much to eat. I don't know. I just tune in every day somehow, and my body tells me exactly what's going to happen today. And it can be, this drives my husband crazy because he's just learning to try to tune into his body. But I may be all excited over something, whatever that something is, food. And then one day it's over. Like, I forget if it was last year or the summer of last year or summer before, maybe a couple summers ago. I was so hooked on watermelon. I couldn't get enough watermelon. And then the next summer, he's thinking, oh, she wants watermelon. And I'm going, nah, I don't want any watermelon. And it's only, actually, I just bought a watermelon the other day. I thought, maybe I'll try a watermelon. But it's like that. So I'll get real into certain way of eating or certain foods, not way. And then it can be over as quickly as it started because that's what my body's doing. And like I said, it drives my husband crazy. It's hard for him to understand what happened. I thought you were so into this or that. Anyway, that's it. That's how that works for me. So I would like to encourage anybody listening today to really start to just become aware of this idea, aware of, are you aware of the body? Just let's say aware of the body. And by the way, also, I know a lot of us, particularly females, I think, we don't like our bodies. You know, we're never skinny enough or whatever it is enough, or parts we don't like. I gotta take a sip here, dry mouth, dry throat. My body likes mango juice, that's what it is, that I was drinking. This is allergy season, so I seem to be getting some of that. Anyway, where was I? What was I saying? Something about, well, I just lost it. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know where I was. But wherever I was, I'm talking about learning to be aware or starting to become aware of the body. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Okay, I was going to say some of us, or particularly women, we're very critical of parts of our bodies. I'm right there with you, definitely. And so we have this attitude toward the body, but I've learned to really finally release that. It's a belief is what it is. It's a belief, and it comes through all the media and everywhere. It's about women and how they look, right? Wrinkles and body functions, and if you're not the perfect model size, and we buy into that. But somehow I finally have released that, and I'm accepting of my body. And the reason I'm bringing it up is I think it keeps us from really, when we're not in acceptance of our body, then we're putting out very negative energy toward it, and it makes it much more difficult to really be able to have that knowing of the needs of the body. Now that could come through, let's say that you want to lose weight for health reasons, or I don't care what reasons, but health is a good reason. And that you can tune into your body and how to do that, but try not to come from such a negative, hate my body type place, because that's not going to work so well. I don't think so. So I don't know what else I can say about why it's so important, I think, or so valuable. I don't want to use the word important because I don't even know what's important or not important, but let's just call it, it can be of real value to really be able to tune in and have that knowing from the body, that intuition. You know, it speaks from such an absolutely perfect place. It really does. And yeah, really is something to pay attention to. And I realize I don't even know if I've ever spoken about this or not, but I definitely will start to do it more often. I feel like my monitor is kind of crooked here. Why am I getting that distraction? Well, Anyway, sorry. So, yeah, so I hope this inspires some of you to, or makes sense to some of you to start to see, where are you coming from? Are you staying in the head like you've cut off the body and it just kind of happens out there? Or are you somewhere, you know, in the middle? Does it inspire you at all? Do you recognize that maybe the body does have intelligence? Or maybe you totally get this and you live and you really get, and you have that knowingness and that communication with your body. I'd love to hear comments about this, because I think this is a bigger, way bigger subject than we recognize. And I'd love to hear comments about, you know, how do you deal with your body? What's been your experience? Or if you want to have a conversation with me about this, that'd be great also, so we can have a conversation and we can record it and put it on YouTube. That would be really super, because I think that would help a lot of people that probably are struggling with maybe how to get in touch with that part, that body part. So definitely give me a comment. That would be, and while I'm saying comments, by the way, thank you very much to those of you that have left comments. It's really, really appreciated, really is. So also, like the video, please, if you like it. And also, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. That would be great, because that helps me kind of get out there a little more, I think, is how it works technically. And be kind to yourself. You know, this is something, again, and this goes along, by the way, this being kind to oneself. It goes along with this whole idea of being kind and having self-love, including and very much the body, right? So having complete gratitude and caring of all that the body brings in terms of its intelligence, and how does it do everything, you know, without us even lifting a finger. It pumps the heart, I don't know, it does the blood thing, it does all this stuff to allow us to wake up every morning and hopefully as a pretty healthy person. So when you really kind of stop and just meditate a little bit about the value your body offers you, the value that the body offers all of us, it's really pretty awesome. It really is. It's kind of remarkable and amazing when you really kind of step away and look and realize all that the body has to offer. So, with that said, I think that's about all I can say about this. And again, the being kind to everything about yourself. That's what I'm working on, always working on, and I hope you are too. So until next time, I hope to see you next time. Take care.